Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the one, the only, Shell Shock!
Come on, little furry man. Time to die.
Ratchet Deadlocked was the controversial Ratchet & Clank game before it was cool to be a controversial Ratchet & Clank game. After 3 straight years of pumping out Ratchet titles, Insomniac Games decided to extract the platforming elements and make a more straightforward shooter with Deadlocked. It was the era of edginess after all. Deadlocked may have been the weakest of the PS2 quadrology back then, but has time treated this Lombax well? Let's find out here in this review of Ratchet Deadlocked HD.
Now pay attention this time.
Sir, permission to speak freely? This place stinks.
Deadlocked's focus on shooting works because, and get this, the shooting works, and it works quite well. Ratchet & Clank has always banked off having a unique armory that worked in tandem with the barrage of foes. Chaos-bred action that fueled the RPG mechanics that kept the shooting fresh. Upgrading weapons by using them is still the best way to handle this sort of progression, and it continues that pleasant cycle here in Deadlocked. You'll always be shooting, upgrading, and working towards a bigger goal, which makes Deadlocked one of the most replayable games in the series. The array of available weapons has been cut down to 10, which is a far cry from other Ratchet games. Every firearm has a distinct place and feel, but having fewer guns makes ammo more scarce. Ratchet games have always had the problem of ammo scarcity in earlier levels, but that issue would always clear up around the halfway mark as the amount of available weapons grew. That is not the case here, since that empty magazine click happens frequently even at the end of the game. Ammo is cheaper to buy, but that feels like a band-aid that is wrapped around the bigger issue. The narrative is less ambitious as well. Ratchet & Clank have been abducted and forced to participate in a reality TV-inspired gladiator show. Collars fastened to their neck push the duo through episode after episode as they try to figure out a way to break this wretched cycle of kill, kill, kill. Strong voice acting, humorous writing, and likable characters are staples of the series and are present here, but the story is a bit shallow. Fighting through a twisted game show for freedom is a great premise, and they touch on some interesting politics, but there just isn't enough of it. What is here is funny and entertaining, but also tantalizing in the way that it makes you want more. Except for the repeating lines. I could do without hearing a few of the announcer catchphrases ever again.
You know, sometimes I think I should have taken that job on Annihilation Nation. They've got a great demo plan. They've got a great demo plan. They've got a great demo plan.
Insomniac was working on the original Resistance for the PS3 at the time, so it makes sense that this story feels a bit thin, but that doesn't excuse its shortcomings. Deadlocked may be short and thin in some areas, but it is still one of the more replayable games in the franchise. The near endless upgrade path and wealth of difficulties make the bite-sized challenges consistently fresh, proving why the Ratchet formula has been around for so long. Every weapon can be pushed to level 99, and just seeing the weapons hit a new number matches the satisfaction of the frantic gunplay. Co-op is sadly limited to local play, which is nonsensical considering the release date of this PS3 version. The competitive online play was resurrected, but I could not, for the life of me, find a single match to play in. While adding one doesn't mean excising the other, it probably would have been better to add online co-op instead of reviving a sure-to-be dead-on-arrival competitive multiplayer mode. Deadlocked's HD-ified version at least looks nice, if overly brown, but it didn't translate without flaw. Outside of the sort of funny but inexcusable clipping glitches, the game's frame rate isn't quite as hilarious. Deadlocked on PS3 starts to chug when the action gets hectic, which is pretty often. It isn't unplayable, but it shouldn't even be part of the conversation given the difference in power between the PS3 and PS2. The perfection achieved in the remastered trilogy makes this even more puzzling. Ratchet Deadlocked could have easily been a budget-priced, downloadable offshoot from the main franchise. That wasn't a viable avenue in 2005, but now it is, and that's why Deadlocked HD makes sense here in this digital era. Choppy frame rate aside, Deadlocked proves that the loop of shooting, upgrading, and buying new weapons to shoot and upgrade is a timeless formula even in this slimmed down form. Other Ratchet titles may be more memorable and quite frankly better games, but Deadlocked's change from the norm and solid execution gives it a reputable place in the Lombax Hall of Fame. It may not be near the top, but with a series with high highs, that's quite respectable. Ratchet Deadlocked HD gets an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and this is Michael Larry, and I'm signing off. Later!